Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I'm hoping we have a decent stream tonight, because, quite honestly, I was almost tempted to say I'm too tired to stream, because I have to get up early again in the morning, but I realized that I can't keep making excuses, even though I do have to get up early again in the morning. So, let's see who we have here in the chat. Warning everyone that I may not go till midnight tonight. I may have to make that concession for my sleep so that I can be awake in the morning, because I wanted to take a nap before the stream. In fact, at one point in the afternoon, I wanted to take a nap at work, but I had to stop myself from that. Anyways, we have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. We have Thomas Armstrong. Eep. We have Gut Bomb. Hi, Jason. We have CDI. Hi, CDI. Blort. Oh. More system sounds, I guess. We have Hardware Hacker. Hi, Hardware Hacker. Yep, I am just in time tonight. We have Jesse, I8386SX. Hi, Jesse. Let's see here. What's on the agenda today? We will get to that in a moment. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hardware Hacker says, please go only as long as you feel you are able. All right. Jesse says, I have a friend that gets up at 3:30 every day and is pleasant at that time. Usually at 3:30 a.m. I just roll right back over. I am... That is usually my mood at 3:30 a.m. Just roll right back on over. All right. Let's see here. We have the coffee goal. Is at 69%. It'd be great to get that to 100%. Link is in the description, but as always, I'm glad you're here. That's why I only usually push my coffee goal once, and then I stream the rest of the evening. Anyways, let's see here. What do we have on the schedule tonight? I thought we would take a look at this disassembled pile of parts. Everyone is probably asking, what in the world is this disassembled pile of parts? Well, it is a PlayStation 2. We've got the power supply here. This is one of the fat models. So there's the power supply. Francois, oh, hi, Francois. Francois says, oh no, I was just about to go to bed. Yes, so we've got the power supply here. We've got some Console 5 cap kits here. These parts are in no particular order. We have the motherboard here. There's the lovely emotion engine and the graphics and sound chip, whatever they called it. Anyways, there we go. There's that. It is kind of quite dusty. If I can find a brush, I'll probably dust some of that off. We are not going to recap this board because I didn't order a cap kit. Oh, yeah, update from last stream where I wasn't sure if I'd ordered the kit for this motherboard or not. The answer was no. I missed it when I placed the order. I was going to order one, but I didn't order it. But after looking at the board... Oh, thank you, Hardware Hacker. $20 more towards VCF East. Eep. Yeah, Thomas Armstrong says a memory test for Justin, yeah. However, I looked, and a bunch of these caps are actually polymers. And the electrolytics are, like, buried within the polymer caps, so I'm pretty sure what I saw on this board was a spilled soda, so I am not going to recap this board. Sadbeck says, oh, PS2, I've only briefly played on one, or at least briefly played Kingdom Hearts. Yep, Kingdom Hearts was a PlayStation 2... I think it was a PlayStation 2 exclusive for a while. Gutbomb says, I have worked on a lot of PS2s and never once needed to recap one. Well, we are going to recap the power supply just to make sure that it was a soda spill and not the power supply. But yeah, I'm not going to recap the motherboard. Yeah, 69 to 75%. Yay! Gutbomb says, power supply doesn't count. Okay. Yes. So we're going to recap the power supply. Also, we got the optical drive here. The main symptom of this was that it needed a belt, so I do have a belt. Console 5 sells belts for these, so there we go. And let's see here. So I ordered a network adapter cap kit, even though I don't have a network adapter, so I will put that somewhere where I'm bound to lose it. I do have the power supply cap kit, which does not include the large capacitor. I know some people say those capacitors hardly ever need replacing, but I usually replace everything. I ordered a large cap from Console 5, but it is not a great replacement. I will see why in a moment here. I'm not going to mod kit this one. I'm going to use it as it is. I just want to get it back together. So, I also recently placed an order with Mouser, the place where I buy components and buy more components and buy more components. I buy lots of components from Mouser. Alright. So, let's see here. In this Mouser order, we should have a power resistor that has nothing to do with the PlayStation 2. This is for a PC power supply that requires a load on the 12-volt rail to regulate properly, and I don't have enough of a 12-volt load to give it without also giving it a dummy load. So I am going to install a power resistor in that power supply to load down the 12-volt rail by 2 amps. And then I think the motherboard and everything else will get it the rest of the way where it needs it. But yeah, this is like I think this is a 50-watt, 6-ohm power resistor. So, yeah, that'll be fun to install. I think if I did the math correctly, that'll draw 2 amps. I have capacitors for those VRAM memory modules I was building for my Quadra 700 build. So there's those. We may or may not be getting to that in Marchintosh. Of course, you all know I will. I'd like to finish that. In fact, actually, I think some of those other capacitors are on my workbench, probably getting lost. Let's see here. Other things I ordered from Mouser. Oh yeah, I have 2 40-pin ZIF sockets. And I had to order them from Mouser because I needed ones that weren't much wider than the chip. This is for my ZIF 20 idea that I would like to do at some point soon. These were like $25 a piece. But I needed them, given where they go in the VIC-20, there's not enough clearance around the dip socket to have used the cheaper ones. So, their dedication to... Yeah, those are expensive, but there was no clearance to use a cheaper one. Yeah, Thomas says mounted on the side of the PSU, 25 watts is a lot of heat. Yep. Thomas, that is not only where I plan to mount it. In fact, I'm going to try to mount it on the side that is in the airstream of the fan. But I ordered a 50-watt power resistor to help with the, because I didn't want to run the, I didn't want to run it at its rated wattage continuously. Hardware Hacker says, finally, a VIC-20. Yeah, we'll get to that soon. I ordered some 32.768 kilohertz crystals. I don't remember what these are for, but I ordered like 2 different brands. And there is a point to this Mauser order. And of course, I think it would be the last item in here. Yeah, and here we go. This capacitor here. I think, if I ordered correctly, this capacitor is probably the one I will have to use on this power supply to not violate a golden rule of replacing capacitors. Because the problem is, and I am going to, I should probably let Luke know the quandary here, but the Console 5 page, they don't include this capacitor in the kit because apparently Sony used, or the power supplies used, more than one different one on each of the power supplies, so Console 5 has a selection you can pick. But they warn you to, so they say, pick one with the same or greater voltage rating, but you can go up or down in capacitance. But I didn't really want to go down in capacitance as much as I would have had to pick one of theirs to replace a 270 microfarad 300 volt capacitor that's also rather short. So I did, just so I would at least have something, I did order the best closest match they had, which was a 330 microfarad 250 volt. But unfortunately that is lower than the voltage rating. So I could probably get away with that in the US, but if I ever sent this console to anyone overseas, it would probably make itself known. So that is why, if I can find a way to mount it, and assuming I... Oh, well, that could be a problem. Unfortunately, the capacitor I was going to order was out of stock when I actually went to place my order for Mauser. And it looks like I ended up buying a snap-in capacitor. That's... Well, I may have to attach some wire leads to this. This may not be the simple installation I wanted. Sadmax says, hang on, the console's NTSC, right? Yep. It's an NTSC console. Oh, you're right. It is an NTSC console. Well, anyways, I'd ordered this because this was, like, the best cap I could find that had the voltage rating and the capacitance rating. But as we can see, it is a bit big. And I thought it was a leaded one that I could just bend the leads back and put some heat shrink on it. I don't know that that's going to fit very well. Gutbomb says they can still do PAL when modded with the chip or free McBoot. I have no idea what free McBoot is. Dremel the pins down. Yeah, Sadmax says, yeah, you'd have to add a bonus item. Yes, I would have to add a bonus item. Ah, okay. Oh, it uses a memory card as a mod chip. Oh, it's one of those. Oh, Sadmax says, whether that's done via hardware or software would be a different matter. Yeah, I know there's a couple of um, games with bugs that let you do things that Sony never wanted you to do. Alright, well, we will still recap this power supply. I mean, there is another option. I guess we could just leave the big cap alone, or maybe remove it and test it. Although the thing is, they only used an 85-degree C rated cap, so... Thomas is asking, is it a switch mode power supply? Um... Probably. It is probably a switch mode supply, but I don't see a... I don't really see a switch mode controller, but I'm pretty sure it is a switch mode supply. Yeah, Francois says, well, with the big 350 volt cap, usually yes. Well, no, it's only 300 volt. All right, I guess we'll have to skip that cap because I can't. My choices are derate the voltage, which is potentially a bad idea. Yeah, I know the primary cap. This is violating one of my rules, though. I do all or nothing recaps. Because I don't want to have to remember that I didn't replace this cap in this PS2. I mean, because at some point that cap will go bad. But I think I'm going to have to violate my rule because I can't find a suitable replacement cap. Because this one doesn't have the voltage rating. It would be totally fine to go up to 330 microfarad, but it's only 250 volt rated. Thomas says, no, you need the minimum of 1.77 times your line voltage minimum. Oh, well, well, here's the problem, Thomas. I could get away with it in the US. Capbomb says, I mark all the caps that are replaced with a smiley face on the top, so later, if I see a cap that doesn't have a smiley face, I know I didn't replace it. um... Well, I try to draw some sort of a mark on caps too, but some caps aren't really big enough to Jesse's some caps aren't big enough to draw a smiley face on. Jesse's asking, but does it violate the Geneva Convention? I mean, I could get away with it in the US because our line voltage is 120. All right, let's say it's 130 volts just to go on the high end of things. 130 volts times 1.77 is... $230. So I could get away with doing a 250 volt cap. And maybe I will, but that would mean that this power supply would no longer be a worldwide power supply. Although, actually, let me do the math here. I just realized. So, if we were to take this to, say, Australia, which is closer to like 240 to 250 volts, depends on what part of Australia you're at. I think some of their provinces have higher voltages than others, but let's say 240 volts times 1.77. Oh, that cap's the wrong rating. That cap is the wrong rating. It'd have to be like 420 volts to be the proper rating. So let me check. Let me find the part of the case that's got the label on it. Let me see if this is a... Let me see if it says what the rating of the power supply is. If it says... Oh, that's weird. There's no label on the... It's not labeled on the case. Oh, there's the label. Hold, please. Oh, it says AC 120 volts. 60 hertz, 79 watts. Oh, this is not a worldwide unit. Yeah, this is so yeah, this power supply wouldn't even this power supply would go pop if you tried to plug it into 240 volts. This is I was thinking this was a worldwide power supply. I thought the PS2 had an auto-ranging worldwide power supply. But no, this is a US-only power supply. So I could go to 250 volts and... Yeah, Thomas says the 250 would take it for a few times. Yeah. Yeah, Gupom says most do, but I guess not this one. Yeah, so actually, I could, Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and recap the whole power supply. But I am going to do something that I don't recommend that you simply do. So, my usual disclaimer that this is for entertainment purposes only definitely applies to this recap. Because, strictly speaking, you should not go... In most... I think the way I will phrase this is, in most cases, you do not want to go down in voltage. However, in this case, I am going to presume that I have done my research, and I am going to assume the risk of going down in voltage because I have taken our line voltage and I have done the math, and I have made sure that the capacitor I'm going to use meets the would meet the root mean square voltage. But for the disclaimer, don't do what I'm doing. This is not a how-to video. This is for entertainment purposes only. The results of my recapping might be entertaining to some. It might be entertaining to me if it works. It might be entertaining to you if it doesn't work. It will be entertaining to someone. I mean, you'll probably still be entertained if it does work, but I'll be the one playing games on it at that point. So, yeah, there you go. That's the required disclaimer. Don't do what I'm going to do here. I'm a trained... I am a trained. Yeah, there we go. I am a trained. Hardware Hacker says, I am always entertained by your videos. I've... Oh, congratulations, Hardware Hacker. You've been a channel member for 5 months. Awesome. Gut Bob says, don't do what Justin don't does. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta give you the required disclaimers. Alright. So this is a... I haven't used my soldering stuff in a little bit, so... There's dust on some of it. Anyways, I think this is a Mitsumi power supply. Or it's a Nichicon power supply. It's the ZSSR093MA. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 capacitors. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 in the bag. Let me count one more time. 1, 2. Let me not count that one because that's not in the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jesse says, "Don't Joe what Justin don't Joes." Yeah. All right. So let's first start with this big capacitor. Okay, maybe we won't start with the big capacitor. All right, my desoldering device is not desoldering there. All right, we'll use the soldering iron. Yes, moo. That is. Huh, this is. Oh, I wonder. Hold on, while I try to remember how to set my Hacko temperature. Oh, please, I'm Harder Hacker's asking, so no Wheel of Regrets tonight. No, there's no Wheel of Regrets tonight. I only, I, I, I I have a few items upstairs, but I decided I would hold them for a stream that I was not as worried about running out of time during. All right, there we go. Last stream we opened so many items that, I mean, I have a few items. I just kind of was not wanting to spend time tonight opening them. Translation, I didn't have time to bring them downstairs. Harder Hacker says, you regret to inform us that regrettably there will be no regrettable regrets tonight, which is highly regrettable news. Yes, exactly. Tune in next time when I will um, sing a song of Sixpence Pocket Full of Rye. And then next week I might even sing the official national anthem of the Image Raiders. Oh, say, can you see? Oh, wait a minute. No, it would be more like, oh, say, can you hear? By the pen striking paper. Thomas Armstrong says Tantalum regrets or Rifa, yeah. Harder Hacker says sold. I'll be there. Actually, okay, so this is a 270 microfarad cap. I know they're usually rated plus or minus 20%. I mean, it's down, I think, 10% from its original rating, so all right. I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually, maybe let's see what a new one rates at. Thomas Armstrong says high means bad, low is okay. Sadmax says, on the one hand, I don't hear about tantalum stinking up the place. But on the other hand, if the reefa dies, it's usually a filter cap that can just be removed. Yeah. All right, I am curious about this cap. This is the new one. I'm curious how close to its ratings it is, being a new cap. Oh, 280 microfarads, 0.06 ohms. Huh. You know, for 330 microfarad capacitor, all right. I'm just gonna put the original one back on because that's an awfully low rating for a brand new cap. Because that's down about 20%. I mean, I'm sure the cap is okay being brand new, but it's like just in spec for a brand new cap. So no, Thomas, it's a 330 microfarad, and it brand new, and it's reading 280. That's kind of. I mean, I think if I did the math, it is within a 20% tolerance, so it does meet what the manufacturer said it would be, but I'm just cleaning under the cap out of habit. There's nothing there. It is kind of low for a brand new cap, so I'm just going to go ahead and power cycle my Hacko station because I'm tired of it blinking at me because I don't know how to get it out of temperature set mode. Oh. Whatever. Well, I sure thought an incoming cap was a critical place. Well, I'm going to put the original one back on because it's... Well, but then again, the bulk after the rectifier, yeah. Then again, the new cap is 105C rated. I don't know. Maybe I will do what... Alright, maybe I will just put this new one on. Thomas Armstrong says if it's above 160 microfarads, it's good to go. Well, I'm going to put this new cap on because it's rated to 105 degrees C and... PlayStations run hot. I mean, there is a fan, but... There we go. Alright, one cap down. Again, don't... if you're recapping yours, follow the instructions that Console 5 gives you. I am not responsible for lost, late, or misdirected magic smoke. Also, don't breathe the magic smoke. The magic smoke is probably known to the state of California to cause cancer and reproductive harm, and whatever else the Proposition 65 sticker says. Sadback says, cue me reading about the purpose of those reefer caps that tend to smoke. Yeah. Yes, there is a joke in, I guess, electrical engineering or computer engineering that computers run on magic smoke, don't let it out. Alright, so I am going to... Oh, hold on. I'm about to forget the most important thing. A smiley face. Sadmax says. Sylvestron says, ooh, a PS2. Hi, Sylvestron. No idea what did that. Sadmax says, yeah, you can put new smoke in, but it doesn't always work quite the same. Yeah. Alright, let me do this. Oh, no, I'm not going to mark them in red because they're all marked on the top, so we'll have trouble reading them if I mark them. So let's go ahead and... there we go. There's one cap out. Okay, so this cap here is a... Ugh. I can't read it. Because when I said I wasn't going to mark them with red on the top because they're all marked on their top as to what they are. Hold on. There we go. I think that's a 10 microfarad 50 volt. Okay. Sylvestron says, also remember that everything is a smoke machine if you use it wrong enough. Alright. Let's see here. We should have a... That is a 50 volt 1 microfarad. And there we go. 50 volt 10 microfarad. Alright. I don't really need to mark the old caps in red because the old caps are all Nichicon silver can caps, and the new caps are not, do not match. Do not match in appearance. So I don't think I really have to worry about mixing them up. Alright. I will put smiley faces on them when I am done. Alright, that is one cap down. One non-bulk cap down. Alright, so this one I think is here. And alright, and that is a 470 10 volts, I believe. Yeah, 470 10. Alright. Let's see here. 25. 470, 25. See, it's going to be 470, 25. There's like 470, 25s. Oh, that might be it. There's a 470, 16 in the kit. Actually, that probably is it. Alright, yep, that's it. Harder Hacker says, a friend of mine had a power supply blow magic smoke once while I was visiting him. Man, that stank to high heaven. Pretty loud sound when it happened, yeah. There are certain computers that if I ever get them, I'm going to be kind of afraid to turn them on the first couple times. But I should probably actually be afraid to turn them on every time until I recap their power supply. It's the Power Mac G5s, I think, like to their power supplies like to go pop. You can ask Greg Krutke. Alright, there we go. Got those two caps replaced. Let's go check to see if I see any other caps over here. And I don't. So let's go ahead and get these two here. I guess I could try to zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, this was a 10 microfarad 50 volt. This was a 470 microfarad 10 volt. They upgraded to the 16 volt in the kit. We'll get these two little ones here. Let's see if I can tell what they are beforehand, because if they're the same, then I'm just gonna... If they're the same, I'm going to remove them both. So that is a... 0.1? And that's a 1. Sylvestron says C106 is a 0.150 volt and C107 is a 1 microfarad 50 volt. All right. So they are not the same. But since Sylvesteron just put it in the chat, that is as good as me making a note on paper. Because I confirmed that this isn't like some weird revision no one's seen. Alright. So we'll go ahead and get them both off. C106. Oh, the cap list is on. Yeah, I sometimes forget to bring up console 5, even though I ordered the kit from them. I still sometimes forget to bring up their wiki. Of course, the thing is, I still like to double check that whatever is on the board matches what the wiki says. Because I've had power supplies where it looks like it was an undocumented another revision. So I do sometimes still like to check, and I'm not seeing any signs that these leaked. But there is signs though that this console was used a lot, and I know these run fairly warm. So, all right. There we go. So there's the 0.1 microfarad. C106. There's the 0.1 microfarad. And then there's the 1 microfarad. There we go. All right, there we go. Two more down. Weird. Yeah, let me pull up that wiki because there's a cap on this power supply that doesn't look the greatest, and the SSR 093MA. So we got C006. Yeah, okay. C13. C13, C15, got that one. Let's see, 102, 103, 105, 106, 107. I think those are these four. There's 106, 106. Oh, 102, 103, 104. are 3 of these, 106, 107, and then it looks like they've got 3 without references. C009. Let's take a look at it under the microscope. It looks, it kind of looks toasty compared to its closer neighbor here. But maybe it's fine. I don't know, maybe that's more dust than anything on it. It does look more amber, though, than the one beside it. That's... but it's a polymer cap. It's probably fine. Okay. Very well. All right. We got those 2. So let's go ahead and get these 4. Because these 4 are these 4 here are the same value. And maybe when we get these off, maybe I'll see what the component designators are. I can let Luke know. Because it looks like he's got 2 that... He doesn't know what the designators are, but maybe they're not marked. That is also possible. That could also be why they're marked C question mark on the wiki. Alright, so let's see here. There's 1. 2. 3. And 4. Those do not appear to have leaked either, so excellent. C102, C103, C104, and C105. There we go. Just trying to get them somewhat tacked to the board so I can solder them better. There we go. what I'll do... That looks... All right. There we go. That looks pretty good. And there's like one more cap to replace. But there's three more in the kit, so I don't know where the other two go. So this last one is a 150 25 C108. .3 volt, 1000. All right, that definitely doesn't go in here. 150 25, that must be it. And then the others, 82 microfarad, 35 volt. All right, I don't know what the other two caps go to. I don't think they go to this power supply. Or at least, let me put it this way. Those last two caps that were in the kit do not appear to exist on this version of the board. Maybe they do on some other version of this same power supply board. So there we go. One beautiful recap. Let's do this. Since I do have a battery, Oh, I thought I hit the mute button, sorry. It should be back. No, I apparently did not actually hit the mute button like I thought I did. I muted when I dusted the power supply, and then I thought I hit the button. I did not. I am sorry. I have not spilled the isopropyl alcohol yet. I will let you know if I do. But while we wait for the isopropyl to dry on that, I thought I would try to kind of brush off the dust on some of these other parts, like the controller ports. And I just realized I think my can of contact cleaner is still out in the garage from where I had to clean battery contacts the weekend before last. Oh, that is my bad. All right. Hardware Hacker says that is a big puddle for not a spill, though. Well, that was what I used to clean the board, though. If you will look, that's what I used to clean the board, and it dripped off. Spilling means I actually knock over the container of isopropyl alcohol, including spilling it on the item I'm cleaning, because, well, that's a spill. All right. So I am going to very carefully, since I've got this apart, I'm going to take the label off of this fan here. Because I think I don't know why I'm being careful, other than I thought I would like to stick the label back down, even though it's plain. Alright, I'll use Captain Tape to fix it. No, that is not where the bearings are. Interesting. No, that's got to be where the bearings are. Because what I was going to do, and what I'm still going to do, is I was going to take a dropper to a machine oil. What's the thing to the right? Thomas Armstrong is asking, what's the box on my name? I don't know. Oh, that might be that you're an admin. I think that might be the symbol you're an admin. YouTube replaced the wrench with the shield. Yeah. Yes, for anyone that wonders if YouTube like actually lets creators know that they've changed something, They probably do. It's just probably buried in some video somewhere that possibly hasn't been released yet. They do sometimes like to make changes and then put it out in a creator update, like a week or two later. Sadback says, yeah, I don't know what YouTube is doing any given day. Yeah, at some point it will be in some creator update, I'm sure. Although they've yet to update creators on why channel names don't appear in the chat anymore. Thomas says, oh, those changes are great for my memory. Harder Hacker says, shrug indeed. Yeah. So, and the thing is, I'd forgotten all about the wrench icon, because of course I would. Alright. Alright. Hold please while I fight with my captain tape, because, well, of course I would be. There we go. I don't know what this is. It is obviously not the cover for where the fan bearings are. But I'm not totally sure about that, so I thought I'd still put something over top of it to protect it. There. All right. There we go. Sadmax says, if they tell anyone about anything, it's in the locked filing cabinet in the disused bathroom behind the sign saying, beware of the leopard. Like, I associate the wrench icon with your site staff, so I can see why they changed it, but also some kind of notice would have been nice, yeah. Also, beware a dinosaur. Alright, so we got a power supply. It's recapped. I think the isopropyl alcohol has dried on it. I will, there we go. I have drawn smiley faces on the caps that are big enough, and I put a green dot on the ones that weren't big enough. So now I know I've replaced them. So we'll set that off to the side. I guess now would be probably as good a time as any to try to replace the belt. Why not? If I can find where I put the optical drive. There it is. So I believe to get the belt replaced, I need to remove. Oh, I think I need to remove that screw. There we go. All right. Hold, please. Yeah, I just unstacked something off my bench, and now things are falling. Hold, please. All right. All right. I've turned off my soldering equipment, and I have apparently. Okay, there we go. My multi-sync, the arm my multi-sync monitor is on, is apparently in need of me adjusting the tension because it decided to start falling all the way down to the bottom of its motion range. And I just had to simply let it. So, yeah. Hopefully, hopefully it came to rest gently on the corner of Claris because I didn't realize how long it was sitting there because I was busy recapping. All right. So I will relubricate this optical drive. I don't know why I recapped the power supply before I tried to fix the optical drive because all right. Oh. Well, apparently there's something stuck on that. I don't know what it is, but anyways, let's take this belt. Here's the old belt. It was very loose. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I can tell it's stretched. So we will put the new belt on. All right, let me try that again. I tried not to tangle the belt up, but I got it twisted somehow. Yeah, put it on the. All right. I twisted the belt, putting it on somehow. I think I might have put it on. We'll see. Kind of one of those. I got to put it back together before we'll know if I got it. There's totally nothing intimidating there. I don't know if these are going in plastic or metal. All right, so got the belt replaced. That was one of the main problems with this unit. I do know though that the Sony CR2032 is going to be flat. Let's go ahead and replace it. While we're in here, with a lovely PK Cell brand battery. I'm out of the out of OWL data ones, so we'll have to go with PK Cell. Admax says I'm hearing screaming Australians somehow. Well, I don't hear anyone screaming Australian here. There we go. Lovely new battery. All right, let's see if I can't. No, I don't think there's any lubrication on any of these parts. All right. In that case, I'm not going to add lubrication. Oh, Carter Hacker says, is Bruce lurking in the chat? Perhaps just kidding. I know he isn't like that. That Sylvester says, I think I'm the only Aussie lurking at the moment. Yes, lurk away, Sylvestron. Lurk away. I know it is your work day. All right. Now I guess we're going to see how far I can get in reassembling this. So we got the belt installed. We recapped the power supply. Only thing I was just going to look to make sure I cleaned up the. And I think I cleaned up the soda spills best as I could. Although I'm going to. Sylvester says it's no longer a PK cell. Capcom says DankPods is an Aussie YouTube channel about iPods. Well, he expanded beyond iPods, but yeah, he's funny. Sylvester says Garbage Time is the superior channel. All right. I think that looks good. And now, time to try to reassemble. Do I remember how to reassemble this? No, I do not. Is there probably an iFixit guide? Yes, there probably is. Probably. It would probably help though if I remembered what model of PlayStation this is. It is an SCPH. Oh, 39001. There we go. Oh, there is no guide. Great. Oh, there is a teardown on iFixit. Don't know why it didn't come up when I searched for the model number. All right. All right. So I am going to go in reverse direction of the iFixit disassembly for lack of anything better. And apparently, that means we have to go ahead and reattach the fan already. All right. I will occasionally try to remember to. Under Hacker says, right, Justin is the I Broke It guide channel. I'm only kidding. Yeah. Well, I disassembled this without a guide, and it was a couple weeks ago, so now it looks like we can turn it upside down and reattach the metal shield. All right, the thermal pad that was on the chips looks like it's in good shape, so I am going to reuse it because I have no alternatives, although I guess I will try to brush the dust off of it. Because it looks like there is quite the gap between the top of those chips and the heatsink. Okay. Let's see. It looks like the DVD player is next. Well, I guess maybe that does sound right. All right. Oh, that would probably explain why you have to put the fan on so soon. Because, yeah, the optical drive. Yeah, to put the optical drive on, that is going to obstruct a bunch of stuff. All right. Um, Something doesn't seem right already. Oh, unless... Oh, maybe that's what doesn't make sense. Ah, that's right. That's probably why it doesn't make sense. Because the optical drive goes like this somehow. Is that right? Yeah, I think my answer, if someone asked me if I could repair their PlayStation 2, I think my answer would be no, I cannot. I think there's other consoles I would rather try to repair. And note, I'm not saying that as a knock against the system as a cool system to play. It's just a very complicated system. Actually, one of the ribbon cables I have to reattach attaches to the sled, although I think I might be able to. I think I can more easily reattach it. Let me do it this way. All right, let me disconnect the ribbon cable there so that I can reconnect it on the sled. Like that. Probably can't see because I'm trying to do this without touching the laser. All right. That and that and that. Okay, so I think I got the optical drive cables reconnected. And I think I even have the standoffs more or less aligned to where they got to go. Okay. All right. Oh, and I think now maybe I get to put the metal case back on. I mean, at some point I think I get to actually put screws in, but I'm gonna detach the fan. I'll put it. I think I can still get to its connector. I think the shield goes on because oh yeah, there's actually clips. Here and here for the optical drive. And I think on the front. There we go. So now I think the optical drive is clipped in. So I think I actually do get to put some screws in now. Small screws. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 2 over here. Okay. And you probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm doing too. So, alright, let's see if I've got 6 small screws. I think I do. If I can get this back together enough to actually test it, we'll test it before I've got it completely back together. All right, so I think there's 1. 2. 3. 3. Okay, I may need to back these screws out to get the 4th one lined up. 4. Probably help if I turn this to reflect the picture, but I'm good. Or, well, maybe I should, because there's 2 more. One is. So I got these 4. One is. Oh, the other 2 must be here and here. Looks like they're in a slightly different place on this revision. Okay. All right. We'll try it. There's one and two. Okay, there we go. So there's screws. I think that'll hold. I think that's holding everything in. Well enough to put the isolation shield back on, which goes like, I think that. Mm, There we go. Yep, there we go. Got that on. Now I got to install the expansion bay grid, which goes like this. And that also means we can put the power supply back in. There we go. Seemingly, although I think there's a screw. Yeah, I got a screw that goes there. Oh, I don't think it's that one. Is it that one? No, not that one. This little one? Okay, that's better. All right, let's put this back on. I'll check the chat here. Oh, hey, Jack. Welcome. Yeah, I'm trying to put this back together, and uh, Thomas Armstrong's asking, does I Broke It have an eBay tool set? Nope. Thomas Armstrong says, never try to fix a PS5, and I did regret the 2 weeks it took. Ted Max says, mine would definitely be, I can try some basic troubleshooting steps, but beyond that, no, I cannot help you. Capcom says, PS5 repair, heck no. PS2 repair, yes, please. IBM PS2 repair, yes, even more, please. Thomas Armstrong says, yes to PS1 for me. I think I could get a PS1. Hi, Jack, welcome. Yeah, we didn't get any snow Sunday. It was like, it was just rain here. Now, about less than 10 miles west, the elevation goes up, and they did get snow on the mountain. But here, not on the mountain, we didn't get snow. And I was okay with that. And in fact, I don't even think they were calling for it to be freezing, and I think it did eventually get below freezing sometime that night, but there wasn't really that much in terms of freeze on roads, so. And then it got somewhat warm yesterday, and a little bit more somewhat warm today. But I think by the end of the week, we're supposed to be back up to like the mid to upper 50s, if not maybe to 60 again. I thought we were going to have little piles of ice till April, but I don't think the piles of ice are going to last much past like mid-March here. For all but like, okay, maybe some of the really tall ones and some of the parking lots, they might have a little more staying power, but there's a lot of them that are not even, oh, I think I forgot to plug the fan in before I put those screws in. Oh, well. What's a little more removing screws again among friends? Yeah, I forgot to put the fan on, and I'm having trouble keeping up with the chat. Hi, Mega, welcome. All right. Take these 4 screws out, and then plug the fan back in, and then this might almost be enough of a... Oh. Well, okay, the optical drive is not back together. Somewhere, I don't... Oh, there's the tray. Actually, we'll try to test it when we get to the point where the tray is back on the drive. All right, there we go. There's the fan. And now that was the point I was supposed to put the power supply back on. Yeah, the fan is needed, and when iFixit disassembled the PS2 probably fairly early, I think I'm looking at a fairly early disassembly, they had trouble getting the fan disconnected, which is why I tried plugging it in earlier and then realized it was... Reason why the fan disassembly was where it was is because they had trouble getting the fan disconnected. When they disassembled it, I did not have such trouble. So But in order to test this, since the optical drive drawer was one of the problems, I do need to at least get the optical drive back together before I try. But the fan is reconnected. All right, I'm gonna go back to the disassembly. Let's see here. Got it screwed back in. Let's see. Let's remove the bottom. Oh, I might actually be able to put the bottom case on now. Um, let's see if I can't get the let's see. In order to get the bottom case on, you've got to line up the ports on the front. And the rear. All right, I got the there we go. Yeah, there we go. Back in the bottom case. Now that'll make testing really easy. Yep, there's no screws holding that part on. All right, let's see here. I think the fan will slide in now. Is that correct? No. I think I've. Oh, there's a piece of plastic. Hold, please. I think there's a piece of plastic that goes in. Yeah, there we go. And then the fan will sit. Oh yeah, when you put it back together, there is a little place where the fan cable routes through. All right, that. All right, I think that there's that. So I got the fan in, the power switch. That looks right. Mm, see, there should be some fan screws. Actually, let me see if by chance I'm to the point where I can. The tray back on the optical drive? I think I am, actually. All right. I'm jumping the reassembly just a little bit. Because I believe I just put the optical pickup all the way down. And now I think somehow the tray locks into place. Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking for the optical drive. Oh, I think they didn't have to take the optical drive apart because there's um that's all right. I'll have to see if there's a oh, there we go. I think that's that screw. And there's that screw. All right, so there's that. I got the there we go. And then there should be 4 screws to hold the top on. One, 2. Oh no, wait, maybe there's only 2 screws. One, 2. No, there's 2 on this side as well. Okay. I just gotta find them in the bag. Let's see here. There's 3. They're kind of like I figured out the optical drive screws because they're like 6 matching screws. I am so going to have a screw or 2 left over. I'm almost convinced of it. Okay, there we go. I've got 4 screws. Power switch is in. So, power switch is in. The power supply is in. power supply is actually in a place where it's kind of protected. Optical drive. I guess. Let me see if I've got a plug for this. Is that it? There we go. All right. Found the one end of the plug. Now let me see if I can find the other end of the plug. No, that's not it. Where is that it? Oh, I think that was. All right, that was it. All right. All right, I've plugged it in. I turned it on. Oh wait, isn't? Oh, there's a power button, isn't there? Oh yeah, that would be a problem. I haven't connected the power button yet. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find the power button. Here's the power button. All right. Where does the power button connect to? Oh, that is a good question. I don't know where the power button connects to. Hold please while I button structure comes out of the case. Oh, that's good. Okay, so I think the bad news is it's on the main board somewhere, but I think the good news is there's no there's no screws holding this together, so I should just be able to snap this back out, and then hopefully, oh, there we go. It's down right down in there. Okay, so that. Luckily, there's a long plastic piece on this cable to help push it back in the socket. So I'm going to. There we go. I think it's. There we go. It's in. All right. So now, if I very carefully. Especially now that I know that I plugged it in, so the capacitors may have charged on the power supply. Let me very carefully slip this back into place. I will put the power button ribbon cable in the slot that it's supposed to go in. I'll show you where that is in a moment. Not that this is a how-to guide. If anything, this is probably a how-not-to guide. How not to disassemble it and then try to reassemble it from memory weeks later. How not to forget to put things back. How to send them to Gutbomb. Gutbomb at Gutbomb Industries, Gutbomb Town, USA 12345. That address may not be totally accurate, but the Postal Service is always on their A game, right? Right? All right, we'll see you later, Sylvestron. Jack says maybe it's wireless. Yeah. Yeah, I was reading an article and it was taking all the fun and joy away from the. Oh, oh yeah. Let me turn the power switch off and then plug the power board in carefully, and turn the power switch back on. And I. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Jack says just scroll gut bomb across the package, and they'll know where it's going. All right. So it would appear as if I've got some things correct, but it would also appear as if I just knocked something over that I didn't really want to knock over, but oh well. No, it didn't hit the ground. Ugh. It only hit a keyboard. That probably was where it's not supposed to be. All right. I probably don't have the drawer in quite correctly. Let's see if we can take the top off. The good thing is, though, we had a red and green power LED when I hit the power button. That's a good sign. If I can find the video cable, I'll plug it in. And we'll see if we had a video image. All right, so I think nope. Oh, I bet I don't have this lined correctly. All right. Okay. Nope. Actually, there's the problem. Okay, so I think this piece here needs to be. It needs to be in the correct spot to, I think, align with the groove that it rides in. I think one of the problems is I don't know that I had the peg lined up with the groove. Now I think I do. There we go. Okay, I think I might have it lined up now. I'll try powering it up without the clamp on top. All right, we'll see you later, Thomas. And we'll see if the drawer opens and closes. It obviously won't be able to read a disc without the clamp, but all right. We'll see if at least I've got it aligned good enough. All right. Okay, we got a red light. Oh, there we go. Oh, I even saw the laser. All right, let's see if it ejects. Beautiful. Disc lasers. Don't stare at them. Although I think they're safe for YouTube. I just need to make sure I'm not looking directly at the laser. There we go. That's great. All right, now, yeah. As much as Dave would probably like to see you sometime at his, at the office he works at, he probably doesn't want to see you after you stare at an optical disc laser. So just don't do that. Go for your routine eye exam instead. Also, I don't know why I just thought of it seeing Dave in the chat, but there is an Apple IIci or Macintosh IIci on eBay that is painted indigo blue. So if you can't afford an SGI indigo, maybe you can afford a 2CI indigo. Jack says an 11CI. Well, with the paint on it, it might be an 11CI, yes. As much as I would like to bid on it, just out of the novelty and regret potential, they want a bit much for it, for being an untested condition and unknown battery status. All right, so, oh yeah, caution, laser radiation when open, do not stare into beam. All right, good safety tip, Sony. I would have probably put on the label, if you can read this, you voided your warranty, or some snarky comment like that. If you can read this, you obviously don't need the user manual. If you can read this, I hope you know what you're doing. I'm sure I could have thought of something. If you can read this, you're past the user manual. There we go. All right, I'm trying to see if I've got the PlayStation video cable here. It's possible I took it upstairs. Actually, it's very possible that Dave says that's how they get me. Sadback says also do not look into laser with remaining eye. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you are a pirate, definitely do not stare into laser. Don't say we didn't warn you. All right. I don't think I have a video cable down here because I think I took it upstairs. So, because I said I wasn't going to go quite till midnight because I was tired, and if I go upstairs to get the cable, well, I'm not going to want to come back downstairs. So, I am going to say, also because my PlayStation 2 games are upstairs, there's another good. Oh, hi, Mike. Welcome. All right, so I think this is a good point to stop for tonight. So we have recapped the power supply. We have partially reassembled the PlayStation 2. I've replaced the drive belt. That was the main item that wasn't functioning correctly. And I have confirmed that if I turn it on and eject with the eject button, that the tray actually opens and closes. So we are actually, I think, at a good stopping point because the video cable's upstairs and my game's upstairs. So, so let's see. Mike's asking, any swap meets coming up down in System Source Land? Yes. There is a System Source swap meet. In fact, I think they sent the email out today. So if you will hold on one moment, let me find that email. There we go. Yes, all right. So some events coming up at System Source. I will not be at all of them. System Source is having a computer museum repair workshop on March 28th and 29th. I will not be in attendance at that one. That's too close to VCF East. They also are having a computer museum warehouse sale and swap meet May 2nd and 3rd. And I probably will be at that one because I saw what everyone was finding at the warehouse sale last time around. And I want to get in on that. So May 2nd and 3rd is the next swap meet at System Source. They are in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Usually their events are also on the VCF website because System Source is, well, I guess System Source and VCF East do a lot of things in partnership seemingly. But anyways, I think their website is systemsource.net. And it's probably on their website. So there you go. The workshop events are $10 for one day, $15 for 2 days. Museum volunteers are free. And then the swap meet, there's no charge for the swap meet, unless I think you're a vendor. But museum admission is $10. Oh, cool. And Mike's going to be at VCF East. Awesome. Anyways, I will be an attendee at VCF East. So I hope to see some of you all there. But anyways, this is kind of our stopping point for tonight. Yeah, Mike says the last warehouse event looked epic. I mean, Retrotech Chris bought a whole stack of LTEs for cheap. Relatively cheap. So I won't be buying a stack of LTEs, but I will not buy as many things at VCF East to save a little bit for the swap meet. I'll put it that way. But anyways, all right, so that's kind of my stopping point. We're at a good point to finish putting this together and test it on Thursday. So Thursday, 9 p.m., we will continue putting this together. And if we finish soon enough, then we'll start working on another game console. Next week, we'll start Marchintosh content. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Hope to see you here next time. Thanks for bearing with me as I duck out a little early because I was feeling tired before the stream. And I'm trying to be nice to myself. Hopefully Thursday I will not be tired and we can go full length. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.